Sometimes the greatest power you will ever discover is not in saying yes to every opportunity, to every person, to every distraction, but in standing tall and saying no. Because when you say no to what's pulling you away from your purpose, you're saying yes to your destiny. Don't feel guilty for choosing your path. Saying no isn't about being rude. It's about being focused. Too many times in life, we get trapped in the idea that we have to please everyone. We think that if we say no, we'll hurt someone's feelings, we'll lose friends, we'll burn bridges. But the truth is, every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your purpose, you're actually saying no to yourself. You're putting someone else's priorities above your own destiny, and that's not just a distraction. That's a detour. It's a detour from the life you were meant to live. You have to understand that purpose requires protection. Purpose demands focus. And the only way you protect that focus is by learning to say no to things that pull you off course. It's not personal, it's not emotional, it's directional. You are redirecting your energy, your time, and your attention back to the path that leads to your goals. That redirection is a form of power. It's a declaration that says, I know where I'm going, and I won't let anything or anyone steal my momentum. Look, you only get so much energy in a day. And if you're spending it saying yes to every invite, every favor, every distraction, you'll run out of fuel before you even get started on what really matters. You can't give your best to your goals when you're busy giving pieces of yourself away to everything that asks. You got to stop being afraid of the word no and start realizing it's one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal. Because every time you say no to something that doesn't build you up, you're saying yes to something that does. People may not understand at first. That's okay. They might say you changed. They might say you're selfish. But listen to me, self-care is not selfish. Discipline is not disrespect. You're not rejecting people. You're respecting your path. And the ones who truly care about you, the ones who believe in your growth, they'll understand. Maybe not immediately, but eventually they'll see that you're not just chasing a dream. You're building a life with intention. There's a reason the word a no is short. It's direct. It's simple. But don't mistake its simplicity for weakness. No can be one of the hardest words to say, especially when you're used to being available for everyone. But no is how you take your life back. No is how you claim your time. No is how you stop running in circles and start running your race. You see, the people who accomplish greatness, they're not just talented, they're intentional. They don't say yes to everything, they prioritize. They protect their mornings, their routines, their mental space. They mastered the art of focus, and focus begins with choice. Every yes is a choice. And when you start choosing out of guilt or fear or obligation, you begin to betray yourself. But when you choose out of purpose, out of vision, out of conviction, that's when you begin to rise. Let me tell you something real. Your calling doesn't have time for convenience. Your dreams don't grow in comfort zones. You can't keep saying yes to everybody else's plans and expect your life to take off. It doesn't work that way. You've got to be willing to disappoint a few people in order to not disappoint yourself. You've got to be willing to sit in that discomfort of saying no and trust that it's taking you one step closer to your goal. And no, it's not easy. It's never easy at first. Because we're human. We want to be liked. We want to be accepted. We want to help. But here's the truth. You're not helping anyone by living out of alignment. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you're constantly drained because you're afraid to say no, then your yes doesn't carry any weight. But when your yes comes from a place of strength, of clarity, of purpose, it becomes powerful. It becomes powerful. It becomes sacred. So what does it look like in real life? It looks like turning down that event doesn't feed your growth. It looks like saying no to people who constantly take and never give. It looks like cutting off time, wasting habits that steal your productivity. It looks like waking up early for your goals instead of staying up late for someone else's distractions. It looks like choosing the gym over the gossip, choosing the book over the party, choosing your calling over your comfort. I'm not saying you have to become a hermit. I'm not saying you can't enjoy life or spend time with people. What I'm saying is this. Be intentional. Stop living on autopilot. Stop saying yes just because it's easier in the moment. Easy choices lead to a hard life. Hard choices, like saying no, lead to a life of purpose. It's not about being harsh. It's about being honest. Honest with yourself and honest about where you're going. You've got dreams, right? You got goals. You've got that thing inside you that won't let you sleep because you know you're meant for more. Well, let me tell you something. That dream won't come to life unless you get serious. And getting serious means making sacrifices. Saying no to what's good so you can say yes to what's great. Saying no to distractions so you can say yes to discipline. Saying no to approval so you can say yes to authenticity. Don't wait for people to understand. Don't wait for permission. Your future doesn't require their approval. It requires your commitment. So the next time something comes up and you feel that tug, that obligation to say yes, pause. Ask yourself, does this move me forward or does it hold me back? And if the answer is back, then speak it. Say it strong. Say it clear. Say no. Because every no to distraction is a yes to destiny. Every no to comfort is a yes to greatness. And every no to what doesn't serve you is a yes to the best version of you. You've got the power. Use it. You got 24 hours just like everybody else. The difference between average and excellent, between stuck and successful, isn't how much time we have, it's how we choose to spend it. Your time is your most valuable currency. And just like money, if you don't track it, if you don't spend it wisely, you'll look up one day and wonder where it all went. The problem is, too many people are making investments in things that never pay back. They're spending time on distractions, on drama, on dead-end situations. And they're broke, not financially, but purposefully, spiritually, emotionally, empty, because they poured their time into things that don't build them. You have to stop giving your time to anything and anyone who doesn't deserve it. You've got to guard your schedule the same way a millionaire guards their bank account. When your time is gone, you don't get a refund. There are no do-overs. So why waste it on things that don't move you forward? Why let people withdraw from you when they make no deposits? Your time is currency, and it should only be spent on what brings growth, what builds vision, what brings value into your life and the lives of others. It's meant that being busy means being productive. That if your calendar is full, you must be doing something right. But listen closely. Being busy is not the same as being effective. Some people run around all day saying yes to everything and still don't make progress. They confuse movement with momentum. But movement without direction is chaos. It's noise. Real productivity comes from knowing where your time is going and being intentional with every minute. You got dreams, right? Goals, things you want to achieve. Maybe it's starting a business, finishing a degree, writing that book, getting in shape, becoming financially free. Whatever it is, I guarantee it requires time, and not just random scraps of time left over after everything else. It needs your prime time, your best focus, your undivided energy. But if you're constantly saying yes to things that don't align with that dream, then you're robbing yourself of the time you need to build it. And don't tell me you don't have time. Don't tell me you're too busy, because we all get the same 24 hours. The question is, what are you spending yours on? Are you using your time to build your future, or are you using it to escape your present? Are you working on your purpose, or are you scrolling through someone else's life? Every choice you make about your time is either an investment or an expense. Are you building something, or are you just burning time? Start auditing your time like your life depends on it, because it does. Take a hard look at where your hours go. You'll find things stealing from you: meaningless conversations, toxic relationships, mindless entertainment, pointless habits. None of them feed your goals, and yet you keep feeding them your time. Why? Because it's easy. Because it doesn't hurt right away. But let me tell you, the cost adds up. Every wasted hour is a brick you didn't lay on your dream. You wouldn't let someone steal money out of your wallet every day, would you? So why let them steal your time? Why keep saying yes to things that drain you? You gotta get serious. You gotta stop being afraid of disappointing others and start being afraid of disappointing yourself. Because at the end of the day, your life is your responsibility. Your dreams are waiting on you, not your friends, not your boss, not your circumstances. It's time to shift your mindset from spending time to investing time. When you invest, you expect a return. That means you think before you commit. You ask, does this align with my purpose? Will this grow me? Will this get me closer to my vision? And if the answer is no, then why would you spend your time there? Just because someone else wants your time doesn't mean they deserve it. Just because something feels urgent doesn't mean it's important. Start scheduling your priorities instead of prioritizing your schedule. Don't fill your calendar with things and then try to squeeze your dreams in between. Build your day around your purpose. Block off time for the things that matter, your health, your V's, and let everything else fill in the cracks. Your calendar should reflect your calling, not your convenience. And let me say this, there will always be pressure to give your time away. People will come at you with their emergencies, their plans, their needs. And yes, we should help people, but not at the cost of our calling. If helping others means hurting your own progress, you've got to learn to draw the line. You can't save others by sacrificing yourself. There's a reason flight attendants tell you to put your own oxygen mask on first, because you can't help anyone if you're not breathing. Be clear about what matters most, and then build walls around it. Protect your mornings, protect your routines, protect your mental space. Your greatness is forged in those daily decisions, those moments when you could give in to distractions, but you choose discipline. When you could relax, but you choose to work. When you could go out, but you choose to stay focused. That's where the difference is made. Stop glorifying exhaustion. Stop wearing burnout like a badge of honor. You don't have to be constantly busy to be successful. You have to be focused, strategic, intentional. You don't need more hours in the day. You need more clarity about how you use them. Because once you get serious about your time, everything changes. You'll start attracting opportunities that match your discipline. You'll find peace in your schedule. You'll finally make progress on the things that matter. So here's what I want you to do. Starting today, start treating your time like it's sacred, like it's gold, like it's the one resource you can't get back. Because that's exactly what it is. You want to build something meaningful? Then act like your time is priceless. Say no to the things that waste it. Say yes to the things that grow it. Make every minute count, because every minute matters. You got 24 hours, just like everybody else, but not everybody spends it the same. Champions, leaders, game changers, they invest their time. They know what's at stake. And now, so do you. Don't just exist. Don't just survive. Start building, start growing. Start choosing what you give your time to and watch your life transform. Every time you say yes to a distraction, you're saying no to your destiny. It may not feel that way in the moment. That text message that pulls you out of focus, that random YouTube video you clicked just for 5 minutes, that late night hangout you knew you shouldn't attend. It seems harmless. But here's the truth. These little yeses add up. They don't just take your time. They take your momentum. They steal your rhythm. They interrupt your flow. You think it's a small thing, but over time it becomes a habit, a pattern, a lifestyle. And before you know it, you've said no to your goals 1,000 times without even realizing it. You weren't born to live distracted. You weren't created to be average. You have something powerful inside you, vision, purpose, potential, but that greatness won't grow if you keep handing your time and attention that don't matter. Distraction is the silent killer of dreams. It doesn't show up screaming. It doesn't knock on your door with a warning. It whispers, it creeps in. And the next thing you know, you're drifting. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and you wonder why you haven't moved. You wonder why your goals feel further away, why your energy feels drained, why your spirit feels stuck. It's because you've been saying yes to things that don't deserve a single second of your time. Let me be clear. Focus is not a feeling. Focus is a choice. It's not about motivation. It's about decision. You have to choose every single day what you will give your energy to. Because your energy is not infinite. Your focus has a limit. And if you give it away to the wrong things, there won't be enough left for the right ones. So stop acting like you can afford to be distracted. You can. Not if you're serious about your future. Not if you're trying to build something meaningful. Not if you're chasing legacy. This is the part nobody talks about. Everybody wants success, but not everybody wants the sacrifice. Everybody wants the results, but they don't want to cut off the things keeping them stuck. You say you want to win, but you won't turn off Netflix. You say you want to grow, but you won't put your phone down. You say you want more out of life, but you keep giving life the bare minimum. It doesn't work like that. You can't cheat greatness. You can't casually show up and expect exceptional results. You've got to be all in. And being all in means learning to say no. No to the distractions, no to the nonsense, to anything that's not in alignment with where you're trying to go. Let's break it down. Every day you make choices, thousands of them, and most of them are small, tiny decisions that seem like they don't matter. But they do, because every decision is a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. When you choose discipline over distraction, you're casting a vote for your future. When you choose to stay focused, you're voting for your dream. But when you let distractions take over, you're voting against it. Over time, those votes build a life. You either build a life of purpose or you build a life of regret. And the difference comes down to what you're saying yes to. The problem is, we've been trained to crave distraction. Our phones are designed to keep us scrolling. Our world is filled with noise. There's always something competing for your attention. But you have to take your power back. You have to reclaim your mind. Because if you don't, someone else will. Someone else will decide where your time goes. Someone else will dictate your priorities. And you'll look up one day, living a life you didn't choose, just one you drifted into. That's not what you were created for. You were created for. You were created to lead your life, not just survive it. You were created to rise, not to scroll. So how do you take control? You start by getting clear on what matters. You start by identifying your mission. What are you working toward? What does success look like for you? What does your ideal life require from you? Mentally, emotionally, physically. Once you know that, you measure everything against it. Every invite, every opportunity, every temptation. Ask yourself, does this bring me closer to my purpose or does it pull me away? If it pulls you away, it's a no. Not because you're too good, not because you're rude, but because you're focused. And focus is the fuel for achievement. It's gonna take strength. Because distractions will keep coming. They're everywhere, but you gotta build mental muscles. You gotta discipline your mind. It's like going to the gym. You won't get stronger by thinking about it. You gotta show up, do the reps, and resist the urge to quit. Same thing with focus. You train it by choosing it over and over again. The more you practice saying no, the stronger you become. The easier it gets to protect your vision. And look, you might lose some people along the way. That's okay. Some people only love the distracted version of you. They love when you're available for everything except yourself. When you start changing, when you start saying no, if they might not understand. But that's not your burden. You're not living for their validation. You're living for your vision. And anyone who truly supports you will respect your boundaries. They'll get it or they'll get gone. Either way, your focus stays intact. Let me remind you, your destiny is too important to be put on. Your gift is too valuable to be buried under distractions. You were not born to chase every notification. You were born to make impact, to create, to lead. And none of that can happen if you're always chasing what's urgent instead of focusing on what's important. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs more clarity, more intention, more people who are willing to silence the distractions and do the work. That's you. You're the one. You're the one who can break the cycle, who can rise above the noise, who can lock in and stay committed to your growth. But it starts with the daily choices, the little no's, small sacrifices, the moments when it would be easy to get distracted, but you choose differently. You choose purpose. You choose growth. You choose the hard thing now for the great thing later. So let this be your wake-up call. Your dreams are waiting on your discipline. Your goals are waiting on your focus, and your future is being shaped by every yes and every no. Don't let distractions steal what you've been called to build. Don't let convenience kill your calling. You have the power to choose. Choose wisely, choose boldly, choose boldly, choose your destiny every single day. Stop thinking and no is a bad word. It's not negative, it's necessary. That's where most people get it wrong. We live in a world that's obsessed with yes. Say yes to every invite, every opportunity, every request, every trend, every request, every trend, every favor. And if you say no, they act like something's wrong with you. Like you're selfish, like you're antisocial, like you're missing out. But what if I told you the most powerful people in the world aren't the ones saying yes to everything? They're the ones who've mastered the art of saying no. Not because they're better, not because they're better rude, but because they understand the value of their time, their peace, and their purpose. Saying no doesn't make you mean. It doesn't make you difficult. It makes you focused. It makes you intentional. It makes you serious about your goals. If your vision is big, your discipline has to match it. And discipline always requires saying no. No to distractions. No to unnecessary obligations. No to people who only show up when they need something. No to activities that drain your energy and don't add value. No to comfort when your destiny demands sacrifice. You cannot grow if you don't protect your boundaries. And you cannot protect your boundaries without a strong, unapologetic no. Think about this. Every time you say no to something that doesn't align with your values, you're saying yes to something greater. You're saying yes to clarity. Yes to progress. Yes to alignment. So no isn't rejection. It's redirection. It's a course correction that keeps you on track. You can't let guilt or pressure keep you in situations that pull you away from your growth. Just because someone else is disappointed doesn't mean you're wrong. Sometimes you have to disappoint others to be true to yourself. We've been conditioned to think of no as a barrier. But what if it's actually a gateway? What if saying no is the doorway to your next level? You want to write that book, but you keep saying yes to last-minute plans. You want to get in shape, but you keep saying yes to sleeping in. You want to launch that business, but you keep saying yes to watching TV instead of working on your strategy. You want peace of mind, but you keep saying yes to people who bring nothing but drama into your life. Every yes to the wrong thing is a no to the right one. Every time you hesitate to say no, you delay your breakthrough. And no, I'm not saying you should walk around saying no to everything and everyone. That's not the point. The point is to learn discernment, to know when your yes matters and when your no is more valuable. Your life should be led by priorities, not pressure. Just because someone asks doesn't mean you have to answer. Just because something's available doesn't mean it's for you. You got to filter every request, every decision, every opportunity through the lens of purpose. This is where most people get stuck. They think saying no will make them lose relationships. But here's the truth. If a relationship can't handle your boundaries, it's not a relationship built on respect. People who love you will understand your no. They may not like it, but they'll respect it. And the ones who don't, they were never for you in the first place. You can't build a life of purpose while constantly living in fear of other people's opinions. You can't grow if you're more committed to pleasing people than protecting your potential. You've got to realize your no has power. Your no speaks. It tells the world who you are and what you value. When you say no to negativity, you're saying yes to peace. When you say no to procrastination, you're saying yes to progress. When you say no to toxic energy, you're saying yes to health. When you say no to distractions, you're saying yes to excellence. But you got to get comfortable with the discomfort of saying no. It won't always be easy. Sometimes it'll sting. Sometimes people will question you. But if you can push through that moment of discomfort, you experience long-term reward. There's a difference between being kind and being a doormat. Saying yes to everything doesn't make you nice. It makes you unavailable to yourself. You're so busy showing up for everyone else, you forget to show up for your own life. That's not noble. That's not healthy. And it's definitely not sustainable. Burnout is real. Regret is real. Regret is real. Wasted potential is real. And it's all rooted in the inability to say no. You have to ask yourself, am I helping or am I harming myself by saying yes to this? Because if it's costing you your peace, your time, or your energy, it's too expensive. Start building a new narrative around no. Understand it's not a rejection of others. It's a recognition of self-worth. It's not pushing people away. It's pulling your priorities closer. It's not shutting doors. It's opening the right ones. When you start living with intention, you'll see how necessary no becomes. You'll stop giving your time to things that don't matter. You'll stop chasing validation from people who don't even understand your vision. Your vision. You'll stop stretching yourself so thin that you have nothing left for what truly matters. And here's the kicker. When you start saying no, you'll gain respect. People will realize you're not to be taken lightly. You're not just floating through life. You're leading it. You have direction. You have discipline. And discipline is attractive, commands attention. It tells the world, I know who I am, I know where I'm going, and I'm not afraid to make tough decisions to get there. Let me give it to you straight. Your destiny is too big to be diluted by distractions. Your calling is too urgent to be constantly interrupted. Your vision is too precious to be compromised. So yes, Saying no might feel uncomfortable, but staying stuck, that's even more uncomfortable. Watching years pass while your dreams sit untouched, that's painful. Living with the regret of never reaching your potential because you were too afraid to disappoint someone else, that's devastating. So here's the challenge. Own your no. Say it with confidence. Say it without apology. Say it knowing that every no you speak is a yes to the life you were meant to live. You don't owe everyone your time. You don't owe everyone your energy. What you owe is your commitment to becoming who you were called to be. Protect your space. Guard your goals. Value your time. And if anything tries to pull you away from your purpose, don't hesitate. Say no, because no isn't weakness. No isn't negativity. No is clarity. No is freedom. No is power. And when you embrace the power of no, you create space for everything that truly matters. Every time you honor your goals and say no to what's not aligned, you strengthen your character. That's how self-respect is built. Decision by decision, boundary by boundary. It's not something you wait around for, it's something you create. And one of the most powerful ways to build it is through discipline, through clarity, and most importantly, through the word of no. Every no you say from a place of purpose is a step toward a more confident, more focused, more powerful version of you. Self-respect isn't about being proud or arrogant. It's about knowing your worth. It's about recognizing that your time, energy, and attention are limited and valuable, and refusing to give them away cheap. When you live without boundaries, when you say yes to everything, when you let others dictate your path, your time, your value, you're not living from a place of self-respect. You're living from a place of fear. Fear of missing out. Fear of not being liked. Fear of disappointing others. But here's the truth. You cannot build a strong life on fear. You build it on conviction. You build it on principles. You build it on the strength to say no when it's easier to say yes. The first time you say no to something that used to trap you, whether it's an unhealthy habit, a toxic relationship, a bad environment, you feel it. It stings a little. You feel uncertain. You question yourself. But then something shifts. A light turns on. You realize you didn't die. You didn't fall apart. In fact, you stood taller. You feel stronger. Because in that moment, you weren't just saying no to something outside. You were saying yes to yourself. And that builds confidence. Every time you honor your goals, you send a message to yourself. I matter. My future matters. My dreams are worth protecting. That internal message is powerful. It builds identity. And your identity shapes your actions. When you see yourself as someone who's focused, someone who's disciplined, someone who knows their worth, you start acting like it. You start showing up differently. You don't let people walk over you. You don't fall for every trap. You don't let distractions run your day. You move with purpose. You walk with a sense of alignment. And that alignment becomes your power. Most people think confidence is about having all the answers. It's not. Confidence is built by consistently keeping your word to yourself. Every time you say you'll do something and follow through, your belief in yourself grows. Every time you say no to what pulls you away and yes to what pulls you forward, your self-image strengthens. And the stronger your self-image, the bolder your actions. People who respect themselves don't need to be loud. They don't need to prove anything. Their discipline speaks for them. Their focus speaks for them. Their boundaries speak for them. Let's be real. There's pressure to fit in. There's pressure to be liked, to go along with the crowd, to not rock the boat. But here's the problem. If you're always saying yes just to keep people happy, you're abandoning yourself. And the longer you do that, the further you drift from your true identity. You start living someone else's story, not your own. You begin to feel lost, confused, disconnected, and you can't figure out why. It's because you've ignored your own voice for too long. That internal compass, that inner voice, it only gets louder when you listen to it, and it only becomes stronger when you follow through. So when you start saying no to what's not for you, you're not just setting boundaries with others. You're training yourself. You're teaching your brain that your values matter more than comfort, that your purpose matters more than popularity, that your peace is worth more than approval. This self-training builds emotional strength. It creates discipline. It shapes your future. Because at the end of the day, you're not building a reputation, you're building a foundation. And foundations are made of strong, immovable commitments. This isn't about being cold or dismissive. It's about being clear. Clarity is kindness to yourself and to others. When you know what you stand for, when you know what you're working toward, you can communicate with honesty. You can lead your life with transparency. And people may not always agree with your choices, but they will respect your consistency. The world respects people who respect themselves. You might lose some people in the process. That's okay. Growth requires separation. When you start changing your standards, your schedule, your mindset, some people will fall off. Let them, because anyone who walks away when you stop respecting yourself was only there when you weren't. The ones who remain, the ones who support your evolution, those are your real tribe. Those are the ones you want in your corner. But don't just say no to people. Say no to habits, to thoughts, to environments that no longer reflect your growth. Say no to staying in the same place just because it's comfortable. Say no to negative self-talk. Say no to fear-based decisions. Every time you refuse to shrink, every time you choose growth over comfort, your self-respect grows. And when your self-respect grows, so does your confidence. Confidence is not about being fearless. It's about being faithful. Faithful to your goals. Faithful to your standards. Faithful to the version of you that you're becoming. And you don't need permission to be that person. You don't need applause. You just need intention. You just need to decide. This is who I am now. This is what I allow. This is what I stand for. And if something doesn't fit that, I'm saying no. It's that simple. Not easy, but simple. And the more you practice, the stronger you get. Like a muscle, the more you use the word no, the more natural it becomes. Not from a place of bitterness or ego, but from alignment. When you're aligned, you don't chase, you attract. You don't beg for opportunity. You create them. You don't need everyone to agree. You just need to agree with yourself. Your dream version of yourself. The disciplined one, the focused one, the fulfilled one. It's not waiting on a miracle. It's waiting on consistency. And consistency starts with saying no to what distracts and yes to what builds. It starts with respecting your time, your energy, your vision. Every no you speak out loud is a yes to that version of you. And if you're serious about meeting them, really serious, then you got to stop making excuses and start making decisions. The decision to say no is an act of power. It's not about rejection. It's about elevation. It's about letting go of what's good so you can grab hold of what's great. You are not here to live a life of constant compromise. You're here to live with clarity, to pursue purpose, and to walk boldly in your calling. And that calling will require tough decisions. That calling will require saying no, even when it's uncomfortable. But every time you do, your confidence grows, your character grows, your self-respect grows. And that's how you win. Not by doing everything, not by pleasing everyone, but by standing firm in who you are and where you're going. So say no with intention, say it with power. Say it knowing that behind every no to what's not for you is a yes to the life you were born to live. That's how self-respect is built. That's how confidence is earned, and that's how greatness begins.